Yes, thanks for staying with us on the South Australian Sports Show. Time to turn our attention to rowing. So we've gone to the top of the tree. The CEO, Dave Hutton, joins us. Hutz, thanks for your time.
Yeah, good to be here,
Mate,
Phil. Thank you.
2 years sitting in the job at rowing, footy before that, mate. I know there's been some things in between that. The difference between managing the footy side of the world and rowing side of the world?
Yeah, look, quite a few differences, but some similarities too. So I had 18 years working in football at SANFL level with the Magpies, worked with the Power for 8 years. I had 6 years at the SANFL in game development, a couple of years with Sammy D Foundation in between, still helping out there. But yeah, look, in rowing the last 2 years, I didn't really know much about rowing before then, but essentially as CEO, we're sort of heading up our small team. I've got a development officer and a regatta manager, coordinator. So we run the regattas each week. We've got 24 regattas we run each season, mainly down at West Lakes, but we spread them around the state a little bit on the River Murray, down on the Port River, on the River Torrens. And so running the sport, supporting the clubs in terms of their development and growing the sport, working with the 15 rowing schools, and really just growing, developing the sport, running the competitions and making sure it's a safe, promoted sport for all to enjoy.
Let's talk about growing the sport. So, you know, traditionally the footballers, mate, they go into the schools and they take a fair chunk. The basketballers go in, take theirs. The netballers go in. The other sport, where does rowing get most of its talent from?
Yeah, well, it certainly comes out of the schools. And as I mentioned, there were 15 rowing schools in South Australia. 12 of them are private schools, 3 public schools, Unley High, Adelaide High and Norwood Moriata. And yeah, 70% of our rowers come out of the school, are in the school system. One of the big challenges for the sport, it's a great sport through school, but there's a big drop-off at the end of school. It's quite intense for the year, particularly year 11 and 12 rowers. They've really dedicated. It's really been an eye-opener for me coming out of footy and seeing what a lot of the young athletes put into the sport, the hours, the times. But there is an alarming drop-off. That's made up for the new rowers coming through, but if we can make a reasonable dent in retaining people transitioning out to club rowing, that's a big challenge that we're really working on. Starting to make some small inroads, but got a little bit more to go.
Do you actually promote at schools? I said we had a squash player on here once, and they were talking about their promotion. Like obviously with basketball, football, and all that, they go out and they do the clinics. So they have people go. Do you actually go to schools and do talks to them and try to get those kids that aren't doing anything? Or
yeah, we work in with SASS, the South Australian Sports Institute, with a talent ID program, and it's shared across with a bit of cycling and beach volleyball, some of the smaller but Olympic sports. SASS do a talent ID, so it's sort of a bit of shared resource thing going to the schools that don't have rowing programs, and they do a series of testing and height measurements and on the ergo machine, on the bike, and we do get some really talented athletes coming into the sport. We then need to pair them up with clubs, but the challenge where a big difference is compared to where I come from in football is most schools, certainly all your medium to larger size schools, have a football team, have facilities, where rowing is quite a complex logistically complex sport where you need boats and rowing sheds and specialised coaches, and it's not quite so easy for a school to set up a rowing program. So it's about how we get out to the other schools and open up pathways into clubs.
So then, as an individual, does it cost them a lot of money to get into it and compete?
Yeah, if you get into a club, yes, there are club fees and contributions towards equipment and resources, but it's not as expensive as you might think. The clubs are reasonably set up, some based down at the River Torrens, some down at our headquarters down at West Lakes. We have some on the Port River at Mawson Lakes and dotted up and down some of the towns on the Murray. So it is more accessible than people would think, but how we get that message out there and how we open up people to a little bit of the perception is it's a bit of an exclusive sport, but it's a lot more open and open to everyone. We just need to get that message out there.
Hutz, we're starting to see a lot of sports try and get more explosive. You know, T20 cricket, AFLX, for example, 3-on-3 in basketball. I saw you had a night run on the Torrens. Is that the model that you're trying to go down, more explosive?
That's exactly the model. Night sprints on the Torrens was last Friday night. It was only the second time we've done that. Had some good success where we set up multicoloured LED lit buoys down the centre of the Torrens, right in front of the convention centre, a small 350 metre sprint course as opposed to the regular
Yep.
1K or 2K races that we run, and we made a bit of fun. We had some music being played up on the hill in front of the convention centre, food trucks, drink stalls, coffee vans, and tried to make a bit of a fun. And a number of our schools and University and Adelaide Rowing Club all got involved, and so it's really a concept we want to grow. And so we waited. Races started on dusk and went through the night. Had a couple of portable light towers, but kept things fairly dark on the river, except for the lit buoys, and all the boats were lit up as well.
So you need to do it when the AFL teams are playing, mate. You have massive fans just coming across the bridge.
We've tossed up. Do we do it when there's a Power of Crows game at Adelaide Oval? The problem is getting the spectators and the boats and everything in there. Yeah. So we went away from that. But look, there's a few things we've got in the pipeline for next season that we really want to experiment and grow that concept.
Mate, the Nationals, a month or so ago up in Sydney, how did South Australia do in the Nationals?
Yeah, look, at the National Championships, it's quite a big event in rowing. It's run over a week out at the 2000 Olympic rowing course at Penrith. And it's a combination of national club events, school events, and it culminates at the end of the week with the interstate regatta, which is state versus state in particular boat categories. But look, SA won 36 medals for the club cruise or the school cruise or interstate cruise across the week, which was about a 40% increase for what we'd won last year. Look, we still come sort of third or fourth in a lot of the interstate races against the big Victoria, Queensland, New South Wales, who just dwarf us with numbers. But look, we had we won a gold medal. Alex Hill, who's an Australian rower, Olympic rower, won a gold World Championship medal last year. He won the gold in the men's single, representing South Australia. He's now based in Canberra at the Men's National Training Centre. But he won a gold. We got a couple of silvers with Ollie Aldersey in the women's single and Jed Alschwager in the para single. And Jed's a really good story, who's only been rowing for just over a year. Wow. Had a work accident, lost a lower half of a leg 3 years ago, was spotted doing some rehab work on an ergo, an indoor rowing machine, and getting some really good results. Has come out to rowing through Torrens Rowing Club. SASS have taken him under their wing, and he's now working with some national coaches aiming at the Paralympics in Tokyo in 2020.
Right, 28th of April, mate, the Masters, third grade, novice state championships. That the last event for the calendar year?
It's the last event here in SA this Saturday down at Westlake. So we'll be going from about 9 o'clock in the morning till 3 in the afternoon. So it's that we have our open state championships back in early March, but this is our Masters, and as the third grade novices, they have their own events, and so it's going to be events running every 5 to 10 minutes right through the day. So if anyone's interested, come down to Westlakes. We've got food and drink stalls there.
This Saturday, 9 o'clock?
This Saturday, 9 a.m.
Yep.
And then the Masters are really gearing up, because 2 weeks after that is the Masters Nationals. There's separate national championships for Masters rowers, and that's down in Tassie, Lake Barrington. Heading down there to have a look at that, just near Cradle Mountain. They reckon it's a beautiful spot, so go and have a look at how the SA guys can go and girls can go in that.
Can I ask you a question? It's completely off rowing.
Completely
off rowing, and I have to ask it. You obviously did a number on me one day playing on a wing. You touched me up. That's,
I don't know about that, kid.
But I want to know, were you the king at school? Were you the king of the kids at school? Because I used to watch the Curiosity Show, and did you know how to suck the egg through the bottle and all that stuff? Were you the king of the kids?
Oh, yeah. So my dad, Dean Hutton, was on the Curiosity Show for 17 years, and Hey It's Saturday, and all the kids. I even got some mates now who like me to try and regurgitate some of the experiments. And,
it was a great show.
When
I get to sit down with you, I have to ask you that. So it was a ripper.
And Dad used to. I was his guinea pig at home. Myself, my brother and sister. So that explains a few things.
Well, Hutz, at least you've got the CEO of rowing, mate. So some of us are still stucking eggs out of church. Time for us to get to a break. Stay with us. Still plenty to come.